Join us for a review of the Raven model of the Tesla Model X Performance. Let's go. So there are many great things about this vehicle, and one of them is, for example, you approach it, have the key in your pocket, for example, then here mirrors fold out and the door automatically opens and comes towards you. This is just so intuitive, awesome. Well, meanwhile you can control the car with your smartphone, with the Tesla app, but I think it's always nice to have, this Tesla key stand, and you can do so much with it. For example, in the rear you can, press it twice and then the trunk opens right there. You can press the left sides twice and then the Falcon doors open. So this is all possible. Really great stuff. Or you just press it, on the top part and then everything closes again. So this is so cool. And by the way, holding the rear part of the trunk then releases the charging port. In the front you can see here, these are the daytime running lights, beautiful design, sleek design as well, typical small Tesla opening there with the logo. Of course we don't need so much cooling here for an electric vehicle in the very front. The Model X of course resembles a little bit also the Model S, just this one being the SUV, it's then once again a little bit higher. Not so many visual changes here with the recent Raven update, but I can tell you there are a lot of things to come technology-wise, driving-wise, insulation-wise, suspension-wise, and so on and so on. The length is at 5 meters 04, 16 foot 5 or 198 inches. Of course this hasn't changed, and 20-inch wheels or 22-inch wheels, directly the step. These are here the 20-inch wheels in the bright style. In Germany, for example, we have a different bright styling. In the US configurator at the moment just one bright styling, but sometimes it changes as well. And then the 22-inch wheels would be in the black styling for more sporty, menacing style. However, here with these 20-inch wheels you have the best riding comfort. Talking about that, here with the Raven update, both for the Model S and for the Model X, you get a new adaptive air suspension. So it had air suspension before, but now adaptive. You can also see different modes on the interior infotainment. And this is supposed to bring more comfort. Of course, we will find out more about it very soon while driving. Generally, the design here, crossover wheel claddings, typical SUV design, but then this more SUV coupe shape at the rear with these coupe style windows, tinted windows here also in the rear. Yeah, and then of course the very special Falcon doors. You can once again see how they look like when they open like this. They can even open when it's a little bit narrower right here. You've seen it maybe. And they also have good sensors. They work even better nowadays. Dual motor it says here, because one motor in the front, one in the rear. There's a new one in the front that is called Raven in this motor project. That's why also the whole update we can call Raven. It was used in Tesla Model 3 before at the rear axle, and here now at the front axle, because here at the rear for the S and the X they need stronger electric motors for the rear axle. But overall efficiency gain at least 10%, if not more, so there's more power available, yet at the same time a higher or longer range. And depending of course always on how you drive, you can really score more than 300 miles if you drive very, very well, even some 350 miles, or even realistically 500 kilometers as the range. That's very, very good. Now two models available. Either here, the one we have today, the performance model with even more power for the rear motor, or then the long-range model. The acceleration figures here for the performance model in miles per hour, so to 60 miles an hour is 2.6 seconds for the performance model and 4.4 seconds for the long-range model, and up to 0 to 1 kilometers an hour is 2.8 seconds for the performance model and 4.6 seconds for the long-range model. And charging is 11 kilowatt AC and up to 250 kilowatt DC at the supercharger. Now the interior, black decal elements, then white leather red right here, also soft touch at the top part of the doors. We know these Mercedes window levers from past models. And you can see here, straightforward, simple layout, digital instruments, soon details to that. Also soft touch dashboard, all animal free, but looks like it. Just the steering wheel in the S and the X, you have to order that individually, that you get also a non-animal wrapping there. In the Model 3 and the Model Y it's standard, so this they have to work on the X and the S. However, here the seats, they are indeed all animal-free, sustainable materials also. And if you think about petroleum use, by the way, this can also be done from recyclables, first of all, soon maybe also from plant-based materials. And the amount of petroleum that would be used for PU seat is, really, really little if you compare it to fuel use or energy use. So while you do the production for animal skin, you use more oil than what you would use here for petroleum-based seats. Just a small, information excursus. Definitely a great material here, very, very soft touch. It feels really high class, high grade. The recent BMW new Centertech seats for BMW 5 Series were even better, I think, meanwhile. But these were already pretty cool. 3 colors, either here the white one, the standard one would be the black one, here for the white, and the beige one, 1,500 euros or dollars extra. Here with the white you have a black ceiling in combination. The beige one would come also with a bright ceiling, so probably for that reason I would put the beige ones. I think also the beige ones are not that sensitive to maybe like stains than the white ones. However, you can wipe them clean pretty easily. That's also a good solution, definitely. So my favorite pick would be probably the deep blue on the outside and the beige interior on the inside. But here white is also cool, or black and white. So exterior black and interior white would also be fancy. Definitely a very nice look we have here. Now let's get inside. Really easy entry here also to the front. And the reason I would always prefer the Model X to the Model S is that I sit more upright here in the SUV style. Yes, I like the Model S more as for the design, but here you have the upright SUV seating position and of course this huge panoramic front windscreen. Really, really cool. Talking about intuitive, when you are just entering the vehicle and here you have maybe any doors open, then you can just press close all on the screen and then everything closes itself. And just for the driver's door, just hit the brake here with the foot. Here we go. What a great solution. Talking about straightforward here, I move the steering wheel, for example, or move the seat. Then immediately here my Thomas user account says I can save it directly, so I can save my driving profile setting here for the seat and the steering. So once again, my point, it is a very complex thing. So many things are offered to you, but they made it easy. So that's the difference then to the new systems by the established car manufacturers. Very interesting. So here again, this cockpit setup that still looks concept car like, 17-inch screen, huge and massive. Here with the satellite view, Google satellite view, really impressive. And of course, the best GPS you can get because it's Google based. You know, in the digital instruments, as soon as you set the car to drive, then you have the speed in the top part, for example. Left side, when you have a GPS route set, that's also definitely a good solution. On the right side, either, for example, energy consumption meter, or then when I scroll with my right thumb here, this is then the thing I say, it's okay with the non-knob temperature because I can control the temperature right here. Just by scrolling with my right thumb, I can control the temperature, or again, I could use the voice input, and also here with the fan speed. So, and this can be easily done while driving, and that's why I can live without the temperature knobs. Or also here access the recent calls of your smartphone via Bluetooth. That's again another reason why I could also live without the CarPlay and so on. Yeah. Very interesting, definitely the solution here, and to me also way better than in a Model 3. It's so much better to have the instruments here and the according controls on the steering wheel than just that one central screen in the Model 3 or in the Model Y. So that's also why for the user interface and the user input, I would prefer the X and the S. And then to the screen, we have so much to show here, also very fast and responsive, even though when the satellite view is activated. But of course, you can also go for the more basic view like this. It might be even better for navigation when that's you know, when it's in this very mode here. But this, of course, looks fancier. Then there's this car menu where you can close, for example, all of the doors and so on, or change the display brightness. Suspension settings now for the adaptive air suspension, comfort, auto or sport. I usually leave it in comfort, just more comfortable. Suspension can be also lowered here. It needs to be lowered for the launch control, which you can activate here with the Ludicrous Plus mode. But then, no, I want my mommy. Yes, bring it on. Then it, for example, now needs 40 minutes to preheat the battery for the Ludicrous Plus mode. But Ludicrous mode itself is also fine. Just believe me, it's more than fast enough. Usually I leave it on chill acceleration. That's better for your body and especially for the ones of your passengers. Music you would access here from your phone via Bluetooth. That's the only thing. You can easily access, for example, the recent calls and so on via Bluetooth. But picking playlists, at least from the iPhone X at the moment, is not possible. You have to pick it on your phone. Rear seating. It's really an awesome experience to get inside with these Falcon doors, with the wing doors. So easy the entry, at least when you have the space to open them all the way. Still some legroom left here when the bench is in the most rear position. We also have a different view of the Model X where we have the 6-seater model, which has the 2 single seats here, and then you can go through the rear in the middle for this 2-2-2 setup. That's of course a practical solution, also a lot of fun for the kids, for example. But here with the bench, the good thing is you can adjust here the back part of the seat in the angle, and they can also fold it down completely when you want to use the trunk a little bit more. So I think I would always go for the 5-seater or the 7-seater setup as we have it here right now. So the only thing that is maybe missing here for the 7-seater is a better entry function to the rear seats, and so you can just slide them forward and fold them down, but there's not like an comfort entry function or something. And when I go behind this here, then it does actually work then here with tall adults in a way that I have to put my head here behind this, close to the glass. It directly works, not like super comfortable, so also works with the legs, but only when I have pushed this bench here all the way forward. You can open the front in your smartphone app, or once again with a double click here on the key in the front. And so it's also a very easy solution. Here you can store additional charging cables, for example, or this like charging cable box. So the maximum trunk figures for the 5-seater would be 2,500 liters or 88 cubic feet. And you see here there's the 7-seater, but I think it's actually quite cool because you can also use it as a trunk split, these additional seatings here in the rear. So a cabin trolley perfectly fits in here behind that. That's actually quite cool. And the measures just here in the very, very rear part, the length here 45 centimeters and the width here, this is a meter. So this is more than a meter right here. And you can easily release them right here like this, and then you can also push them forward like this. So here we go. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Tesla Model X Performance Raven, this updated motor. And let's put it to the Ludicrous mode. There's now also Ludicrous Plus mode available. However, that would take heating about 55 minutes or something. You get a little bit more power than even more extreme, but the battery has to be preheated for that. There's also then a launch control available, but of course you need maybe rather a racetrack for that. Here we do a flying start for safety reasons in the normal Ludicrous mode, but this one will already be very spectacular. Ladies and gentlemen, the fastest series production SUV in the world from acceleration. Plop, that's 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles per hour, and this was really an incredible acceleration. I mean, no other SUV can do that in this kind of way. And I mean, yes, it's very loud here and then in here, but considering the older model, this has massively been improved. And now let's go to a speed of 150 kilometers an hour. Whoa, yeah, that's a Porsche doing the same thing that we do. Because here now, this is now a very good speed, 140 kilometers an hour, and it's very, very silent in here. So this is a big step forward if you compare it to the non-Raven or pre-Raven model. So the noise insulation here, especially at higher speeds, has been massively improved, massively. So indeed, that was one of the things where so far we said Tesla has a great concept, but they are lacking a little bit behind in the, perfection, in the look and feel, build quality, noise insulation, and so on. And once again, I'm really astonished how big the difference is. So most of the time, when there are changes in the Model X or Model S or even the Model 3, they are software relevant, and then it doesn't make a difference if you would buy a new model or not. That's also the good thing about Tesla. You always get the updates, and most of the time it's not hardware. Yes, there are also some third-party insulation packages, for example for Model 3, which really improves that and so on. But here, really now from works, I remember like 2 years ago or something, I did like a long haul with the Model X and also higher speed German motorway and so on. And I was really annoyed by, like, when I was driving 140, 150 kilometers an hour, and I really was like getting like, like a constant sound on my ears, and I would say, I really have to drive slower because it's getting so annoying from the wind noises. Yeah, it's totally such a German problem, right? Yeah, I admit that. But now, that's totally gone. So I would really say this car here now gets the stamp German motorway proven. Congratulations, Elon. And there was the rattling sun visor here before. That's gone. There were also other annoying sounds here from time to time. They're all gone. So I really have to ask myself, I could always say like, Tesla has the best concept, they have the most efficient electric motors. Then again, build quality wise, blah, blah, blah. They're lacking behind the Germans a little bit, that will take some time. It seems to be gone now. I mean, there's some like little things here and there, maybe, but I really have to say, the German premium manufacturers, they have to look out even here for the existing vehicle, not the all-new models. City driving, let's do an acceleration while steering. This will be very interesting in the ludicrous mode once again. Whoa, and that was pretty stable. You see there was, of course the all-wheel drive, so both electric motors, evening that out pretty well. So, wow, so this was extremely fast, but still very collected. And then let's put it back here to the chill mode. That's more than enough. By the way, again, if you see something of that screen flickering, that's just on camera because the shutter speed of this action cam cannot be adjusted. Here, more recuperation is also possible now, more or stronger recuperative braking because of the new electric motor. And when you set it here to the standard recuperation, this really means it's a very harsh recuperation. You can use one pedal driving. So when I lift my foot off throttle, even going downhill, there's a strong deceleration. And especially if you have passengers next to you, you use this car not in a way that you always lift your foot. That's interesting. You always lift your foot off the throttle. Foot off the throttle totally and instantaneously. You rather do it gently, for example, to adjust the decreasing speed. You just do it when you really need strong deceleration. And when you have set the the stopping mode to a complete stop, then it really recuperates or stops until zero, until it stands still. When you have set it to the creeping mode, that means when you lift your foot off the throttle while standing still, it creeps forward, rolls forward slowly like a normal automatic gearbox in an ICE. When you have set to that mode, then the car will not stop and not go to 0 kilometers or miles per hour when you're standing still. So that really then depends on your driving mode. But usually I would set it to the creep mode because I think it's nice that it just creeps a little bit forward from time to time then. But then again, this coming to a total stop when just releasing the throttle pedal. This has also something, so maybe I will switch that now. I don't know. Great improvement definitely here once again from the air suspension, which is now adaptive, and this is so much more comfortable. I wouldn't say it's still not the best air suspension on the market. This is something, where the German premium manufacturers still have a little bit, something in advance. Usually I would also set it here to the most comfortable note, but even here in the comfort setting from the air suspension, it's still sporty enough, definitely, but it has a huge boost of comfort if you compare it to the pre-Raven model, definitely. And now to our conclusion for today with the updated Tesla Model X performance and the updated Raven version. Well, exterior-wise, still a very sleek design. However, the rear is a little bit bulky than I think, but just personal preference. I don't think, to me, it's the most beautiful SUV in the world there is, but definitely a very unique styling and a very unique concept. Of course, here with the Falcon Wings doors, but even more so in the interior, where we have the very futuristic concept, which even today could be a concept vehicle on a motor show, with the panoramic windscreen, which is the biggest in the world, definitely. And of course also with the all-vegan seats, so very animal-friendly. Yeah, they have to work on that steering wheel wrapping here, in contrast to the Model 3 and the Model Y in the X and in the S, but talked about that earlier as well. Great sound system, a nice feeling while driving. Although there are hardly any buttons left, the car is easy to control, for example also with the steering commands here with your right thumb. So overall, this is a very, very great concept of a vehicle, also one of the most efficient cars out there, considering especially that size. The Raven updated range, even more performance. You don't really need the performance model, you can easily just go with the long range model. Most of the time I'm driving this in the reduced power mode, because otherwise it's just too much power this car has. Of course, an extreme acceleration, this is really, really impressive. But even more so in this Raven update, the updated air suspension, which is now more comfortable, and the great improved noise, like all the vibration things, noise, the overall less wind noise and so on, less rolling noise. So this has been a great improvement here now. So we can really say, so far, Tesla had the best concept, as for the, whole efficiency and for, the environmentally friendly concept. But then the German manufacturers had the best, look and feel, build quality and best noise insulation and so on and so on. So it were the little things that were missing with the Tesla Model X that were making it maybe a little bit worse. Now, these are the little things that make it even better. Very interesting findings for today. So, what do you think? Tell me your comments here about the updated Tesla Model X. Also tune into more Tesla reviews we have. And of course, to the standard competitors. See you there.